Welcome to another episode of Salient Points number 60, the big 60. I don't know what kind of milestone that is, but that's something, right? This one's for March 15, 2022. I'm Carlos Macias, the Master of Ceremonies here. We have, as per usual, Dalan Kirkwood up in the mountains. Thank you for joining us, sir.
It's what I do.
Oh,
It's what I do.
I mean, you don't do it all the time, but you do
Yeah,
it.
I
a good
do it
amount
when
of
I
the
do
time.
it, so I'm doing it.
Well, you are here, so thank you very much, Dalan.
There you go.
We also have Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
What to do?
I will say, so if you guys notice, it's just a 3-person team this week. We might have broken Deo. He taught us about those traffic cones you see on the streets. They're called delineators.
Broke 'em.
And he was
delineators. We were using it all the week.
he made a mistake. He made a mistake.
He gave us too much power, dude.
He definitely gave us too much power. No, but he's off this week. He might be playing Gran Turismo 7. He's knee deep into that, so I'm sure we'll get his impressions of that at some point in time. But I hope he has a good week off, and we'll see him in the future.
Hey, Dale, enjoy yourself, and never should have gave y'all money.
Oh, damn, Dale, I don't. Is that the reference we want to use here, Dalan? I mean, is that applied to the delineator thing? Possibly.
It's a 1-to-1. I'll accept it.
I do not. But look, so yesterday, Monday night, the Grand Theft Auto 5 upgrade came out, and we did talk about it a bit last week, so we won't spend too much time on it. But I did want to say, Luis, that thing is not free. It is definitely not free. I don't know if we said it was free last week, but it is definitely a cost to the Grand Theft Auto 5 PS3 or PS4 to whatever next gen update. It's going to be $10. The full price game is going to be $40, which is I suppose discounted for a game from 2013. We're coming up on a decade.
It's just for online though, Carlos. You gotta specify
so GTA 5 is $10 to upgrade you from PS4 to Xbox to the next generation. Grand Theft Auto Online is free to claim on at least PlayStation. I think it's on Xbox too.
But it's only PlayStation. It's only PlayStation for free, at least.
Snaps.
So GTA Online is for free to claim until June 14. And apparently you can't go on your phone, and web browser it up. You actually have to go on your console and click around on there. So that's free until June 14. Standalone is going to be $19.99, which I'm assuming if you buy GTA 5 though, at least, right? It comes, pay the $40 or the $10 upgrade you get.
Yeah, it's basically $20 per version, I guess. So if you want the story, it comes with the online. As of right now, yeah, like you said, it's $19.99, and then in 3 months it'll be the full $40.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it did drop last night.
Shaking your head, you're like sad.
Since you guys are listening to this podcast on Tuesday, I'm sure Luis is knee deep in that update. First, you're going online, or you're going story mode first, Luis? You're done with the story, right? Or you'll tinker with the story?
I've played the story, I think, a total of 2 times. I'm in my 3rd playthrough, but I struggle to say I'm in my 3rd playthrough. I just kind of constantly have that game in the rotation. I come back to it every few months or something, play a few missions, and then put it back down.
But now it's an update, so I assume that you're going to go back and at least test it out.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like, I don't know what many people were expecting from this update, but this is basically just PC version on console. Like, they did their best to match the 2 versions. So there isn't even an update for PC today. Like, it's just strictly consoles being upgraded to match the PC quality.
Look, and honestly, I agree with you on the campaign front of it. It's so excellent. So excellent. Do not buy this upgrade. Do not give them any more money so we can get the GTA 6 upgrade. Finally, apply some pressure to these guys. Dude, this thing is going to be the best selling upgrade item, even game. I'm sure it's going to even outsell Mario Kart 8 this year as far as how
Hey, man, I feel like you're going a little far with that comment.
I mean, it's $10, Dalan. People have a copy of this. These guys are going to make so much money off of, like Luis just said, it's just a PC. You're basically bringing up to speed to the PC version of the game.
The most purchased upgrade this year.
In case you were under the impression, Carlos, the way you said it made me think that what you said, the $9.99 upgrade, meant you owned it previously and you get that price. That's just the price right now.
Oh, yeah,
It's like a promotional period.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's the $10 upgrade for right now. It might be till June 14 as well, right? But at some point, it will go up to $40, a full price game.
Yeah, but it seems like games in general now are like no more free upgrade paths. Like you're paying for this game, right?
You're paying for the ray tracing and all that. I might dip into
All that.
it. Has been. I don't think I think I played through it on PS3. I thought about playing through it on PS4. I'm gonna give them $10. But you out there, the masses, don't do it, man. This is why we don't get GTA 6 faster than we do. All right, they're taking their sweet time.
I don't think Rockstar will appreciate that.
I don't care. I don't care. What are they gonna do? The Hauser brothers are gonna come out and murder me. They're gonna have to find me first.
They're gonna demonetize you.
They're gonna demonetize what?
I ain't getting no money out of this.
I ain't getting no money anyways. So one of the cool things that comes out of it is apparently the Grand Theft Auto 5 loads 3 times faster than on PS4. This is from Video Game Chronicles. So it loads from main menu to story mode. Instead of being 27 seconds on the PlayStation 5, the PS4 was taking about more than a minute and a half. So it is faster. So please to enjoy that. Those SSDs are a thing of beauty. Another thing of beauty. Luis, did you anything else before we move on to kind of the big thing, I suppose, of last week?
No, not really. I kind of blew my load before we got to the end of that one. But
reasonable. Reasonable. That's a child-friendly comment right there. Quite to enjoy that. By the way, it was my birthday last week. Not that I need a celebration or anything, but my brother got me a game called Explosive Kitties or Exploding Kitties or something like that.
Exploding Kitties.
Yeah, he got me the NSF version or the Not Safe for Work version. I'm like, why? It doesn't add anything to this game. Why not just give me a plain vanilla one that I could play with my child?
Exploding Kittens is not safe regardless of what you do.
Is it? I feel like that game is okay without the NSFW.
Have you even played Exploding Kittens?
We played it, dude. The graphic images added nothing to what that game is. Okay. So, but something that we could say did get added on Returnal. We're getting a Returnal Ascension update, what they're calling it. So it's gonna be the 3.0 update that drops March 22nd. So that's next week. That's one of the big things to come out of PlayStation's March 2022 State of Play. They're adding campaign co-op. They're adding a new survival mode. So I'm a little hyped about that. Look, they didn't get me out back to play that game when they updated the save system, but this might get me. I don't know, Dalan. What do you think? Are we gonna get down with some Returnal campaign co-op here?
Halo, where is my co-op campaign?
Not come to the point. Don't disconnect your camera.
No, I want my Halo co-op campaign as we talk about this, but I've been wanting to play Returnal for quite some time, and this might be the exact reason to actually go and purchase it. Even with the save update, like you said, fact is that if I could play with somebody else and potentially make it easier on myself rather than trying to struggle with killing everything the whole time, I could do that. But we're going to have to set aside some time because it's still some long levels, save points or not.
Well, and you sharing the frustration, right? And I'm assuming there's got to be like a revive. Right, I would think maybe we got to kind of dip into it.
Hey man, new mechanics is co-op.
There are revives, please, because the revives are key.
So co-op. From what they made it sound like, it's co-op limited to 2 players. It's not, you can't go like 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is the advantage with another player is that they can go down and then they have sort of a revive time. And then you have to go back and revive them. So, but according to them, they said it takes a very long time. So you kind of have to make sure that you're safe, I guess.
Well, finish the area first.
And based on how that game is, it's not gonna. I feel like it's sort of like Cuphead co-op. Like I never played that game co-op, but I feel like it's like it can be a hindrance sometimes to have another player that you have to go pick up in the middle of the hail of bullets or the bullet hell. So it's a little bit of stretch to it too. What were you saying, Dalan?
Hey man, co-op Cuphead. If that ghost is too high on the screen, let them be.
Okay, there you go. Go ahead, Dalan. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say for the co-op itself, did it actually say whether or not it's local split screen or not, or you can do it?
That's a good question.
I don't think they mentioned local split screen. All they talked about was online. So you could kind of just try to match up with someone random or create a private lobby and invite a friend to play with you. But they didn't mention local, I don't think.
That's a good question because they do jip us a lot of times on the split screen co-op, man. They do. Luis, anything else, man, before we move on in this one?
No, this will be the reason I go back to this game.
And you do own a copy. I don't own a copy of Returnal, so I hope those copies
I
are
do.
cheap out
Yes.
there.
You
Yeah.
did own a copy of Returnal.
Gamefly. I think I might have Gameflied it, or did
I'll
I?
call that
Yeah.
owned it.
Yeah.
You owned
Dalan,
it.
do you own a copy of Returnal? You gonna pick one up?
I do not. I plan on game flying it as a matter of
Oh,
fact.
there you go. Oh, dude, we have Dying Light. You need to buy it then, so they send you Returnal.
Or I could return freaking Dying Light and try it later.
That's true. That's true. Dalen's on the one. Gamefly, put the camera on me, Dalan. Gamefly, can you give us like we'll take all the money in the world to be advertised on. Don't worry. Give Dalan at least a 2-game plan or something.
Carlos, you're gonna be demonetized.
Whatever, man. They can come after me. Please like, subscribe, and hit the button. Do you see what these guys are doing? And like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. The next thing on here was that they did announce. I hope you can help me out with this one, Dalan. They did announce Valkyrie Elysium. That's coming out this year, apparently. Help me out, Dalan.
What did you say?
It doesn't matter.
I'll help you out with your English. Valkyrie Elysium.
That's fine, Dalan. So all I know is it's an RPG. What else?
Kind
What's the
of.
excitement
This
here?
one doesn't look as much of an RPG as the original ones do, because the original ones where like you get into battle and you have a set number of moves that you can actually do. This one's far more action oriented. It actually reminded me of like Devil May Cry or Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you actually had
Really?
your characters with you and you're actually just fighting on the ground or going through a castle, whatever it might be. And the other ones, you had lands that you went through, like loading screens, obviously, to get to the next area, and you actually got into battles. That's not what this is. If there's a monster on the screen, you're trying to kill the monster on the screen.
Okay, so you're pretty hyped about this. It's not a remake, right? It's a follow-up, a sequel.
No, it is. It's not even a sequel. It's just its own thing, but it's in the same series. It's like saying Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, or well, I guess Dragon Quest is kind of connected. But my point is you don't have to play any of the previous ones to play this one.
I am looking at this rundown, and I'm like, this was tailored for Dalan. Dalan has comments about
What?
everything on the state of play, and Luis was like, I got something to say on Returnal and everything else. It was a kind of a
See you later.
Japanese focused event, right? So it's not, it's gonna be RPGs. It's gonna be kind of like
That
franchise.
and quite honestly, I missed it. I didn't watch it. I didn't go back to rewatch it, so I don't have any actual real input aside from Returnal because I read the blog post. But that's
Well,
it.
like if any of these other ones would have kind of grabbed your attention a little bit, though, right? You probably would have
This
looked
is
them
true.
up. See, so Dalan, the next one. What about Trek to Yumi? What is this, man? That's gonna come out pretty soon, spring 2022. What's up with this, man? What's got you hyped about it?
Trek to Yomi. It
I
was.
really
It
hate
was.
you, Dalan, but go ahead.
Hey,
Go
don't
ahead.
worry about it. It is.
You're worried about it. No, you are worried about it, sir. But go
Hey,
ahead.
it is a deep story like Kurosawa type story because it's even in black and white, and it's got some good murders in it. But you're basically Rurouni Kenshin running around killing a bunch of
Rurouni
people.
Kenshin, huh? Okay.
Rurouni Kenshin is,
Yeah.
but it looks beautiful, and the gameplay actually looks really smooth. And one of my favorite things being a side-scrolling platformer. If you got a good one, I'm down to play it. And this one looks like I want to pick it up.
This is single player though, right? Not
Yeah,
or
single
this is-
player.
Okay. Trek to Yumi. This should be out in a few weeks, a few months, maybe. Spring.
Trek to
2022.
Yomi, that's fine.
Yomi. And then we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R fighting game that comes out fall 2022. It's a battle royale, right? Or no, probably like
No, it's a regular fighting game.
Regular
It's just
Smash
called
Bros.
All-Star Battle R because it has 50 characters in it.
Okay.
It's bringing like as many JoJo's Bizarre Adventure characters into the game, which I feel like this is another one of those. It's a good anime, so let's cash grab it as best we can. I'm not sure if they put enough work into this game.
Yeah.
Kind of like they did with Saint Seiya. I'm not sure if they put enough work into the game. We'll find out.
Well, it is. I mean, we just had sort of a cash grab, right? With Demon Slayer was like the last. It's like
Demon Slayer was
did
a
you try
crash
that
grab.
game?
The Dragon Ball Z story, Legends, whatever it is, Goku's. Oh, Kakarot. That's what it was. Freaking Dragon Ball Z
but I
Kakarot. That was a cash grab.
I think, look, Dragon Ball, I think they've actually been trying to make it work, though. I feel like that's a little bit of the difference.
I feel like that one, they did not try to make it work. They were far away from even attempting to make it work. It was just the boring open land.
Are you talking about Kakarot? Or,
yeah, Kakarot.
But they were actually trying to do something, right? Like, they were like, look, we're going to try to do an open world. These like one-off type of games like Demon Slayer and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's kind of like the last time I heard this was probably like during the Dreamcast era. So 22 years later, it's kind of like it is a cash grab, and they're trying to kind of get in on the Smash Brothers thing.
Well, then I guess you missed out on Berserk and Fist of the North Star, didn't you?
I mean, maybe I did. Now, does it have all the characters? Is there any drama here? Any controversy as far as characters missing or anything like that?
From what I saw, no. It just looks like they just picked and chose a lot of characters and just threw them in there for people to try and see all of their special anime moves, which is why I'm thinking it's just a cash grab. They just wanted to actually throw these characters in, give them the moves that are in the anime, and say, all right, give us money so you could actually do these moves yourself. I'm like, I'm good. I'll just watch the anime.
So you're not even interested. You might try it out, though, but you won't buy it then.
I might try it simply because I want to know if they actually put in any work into the game.
All right, there you go.
I want to know if the mechanics are actually solid, like BlazBlue and all that, or what was it, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which was not a cash grab. I'm glad to say Dragon Ball Fighter Z was not a cash grab, but I'm not sure if this is going to be in that realm of cash grab. That's always the issue with making an anime-based game, is that these people that make these games don't know how to make it mesh between the story that people love and the action that's there and making it interactive. Because if it's not a good interactive game, then why the hell am I playing it? I'll just watch it.
All right, there you go, Jojo. You don't seem too hyped about it, Dalan. But
I can't say that I'm hyped about it, but I'm interested to see.
It's okay.
I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
But I'm interested to see if they do it in a good way, to where I'll be like, all right, I could turn to people and say, yes, go play JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the all-star battle fighting R, whatever.
Kind of like you steered people wrong on the Batman, right? You told them that was a great movie. But the other
you
thing,
didn't like that, but you know what? That's a whole new issue. Don't get me started.
The other thing that they announced was there's going to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. There's a lot of games. There is a big old list you put on here, Dalan. Basically, they got the arcade one, Turtles in Time. They got the NES version, TMNT 2, the arcade game, Manhattan Project. There's a whole lot of stuff kind of going through the Game Boy Genesis. You guys kind of can look that list up online.
Look, there's only really 4 games here to even care. That's what I was going to
say, then. What's big for you in this Cowabunga collection?
Turtles in Time, because it's always an awesome thing, but they actually had a standalone remake for Turtles in Time. I can't remember, or Reshelled, I believe that's what it was called. You can always play that one and it works just fine. I am very nostalgic about the NES version, just the regular, just TMNT NES, because that was one where I can't remember the history behind it, but they ended up putting a top-down view map and you drive around in the Turtles mobile, you try and find the next level, kind of like Zelda, and then you go into the sewer, and then it turns into a side-scrolling I gotta kill things game. And you get to choose which turtle you go in with. And it's very potential that one turtle can die and you will never get that turtle back.
Okay,
I never beat that game.
Okay, interesting. They threw in a little Suikoden action in there. Is that what it is?
Yeah, basically.
Before Suikoden. So those are your... now, there's 2 versions, right? There's the Super Nintendo version, Turtles in Time, and then there's the arcade one. Do you have a preference between the arcade and the SNES version, or...
Not really. It's just the one for the arcade had a couple extra moves in it, but I could deal with the one for Super Nintendo. They upped their graphics. The one for the one on the Super Nintendo. Excuse me, for the one on the Super Nintendo.
Cowabunga collection. You're picking it up, Dalan. Day one. Or...
Hey man, that NES game is the one that really sold me on it, because I was watching the trailer. I was like, do they have it? Do they have it? Do they have it? Then it popped up. I was like, yes. Now as long as the price isn't stupid, yes, I'll pick it up. If it's like the same price as the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, then I might get it.
You might be. Hopefully, it's like one of those like Genesis collections, right, or something like that. Which those were probably like $30, $40, or something like that.
Yeah, that's
what's
what I'm
your limit?
About.
What's your upper limit on this, Dylan? What's the most you would pay for one of this little?
Hey, once you get above $30, you're pushing it.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, inflation, Dylan. Seen the gas prices?
Inflation.
Seen the
hey
food
man,
prices?
I don't care. These are games from 1986 or something like that. Come on. We're almost 40 years later. No, I don't need that.
That's a fair argument. There's still inflation. We are not caring about that right now. They also talked about Gundam Evolution. That's for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 game. What's good with this one, Dalan? I like that this is a Dalan segment. I like kind of bouncing it back and forth. This is to me. I'm looking at this. I'm like, what the fuck?
He's like, yes, Dalan has things to say.
Yeah, back to
the original Salient Points.
There you go, Gundam Evolution, Dalan.
Gundam Evolution, when it comes to a Gundam game, it has the same issue as the anime games, is that you don't know if it's going to just be a cash grab. A lot of the Gundam games are just cash grabs. Unless you're like a huge fan of Gundam that could name every Gundam and the parts that come with it, it's just a cash grab. But this one was actually different, which is why I'm actually a little excited about this one, because it actually is a first-person shooter versus game.
Okay, there you go.
So it's like Gundam Call of Duty or Gundam Halo. So I'm actually looking forward to playing this game. You get better gears, you might get better parts, you go and try and kill other people, you get to choose what faction you're with. It just seemed like an awesome thing. So hopefully it doesn't lack in weapons for people to be able to use, but I saw people using like the Federation rocket launcher. I saw people using I don't even remember the name of the other side. It starts with a Z. Zed.
We won't be able to bail you out, Dalan. I'm sorry, but
that's fine. That's fine. The fact is, they have a bunch of different factions, a whole bunch of different types of models for the Gundams, and you can do first-person shooting. They have little specials, so it ends up going to the third person. You do get to fly and stuff because that's what Gundams do. I don't know if there's any like real space levels or space battles or anything like that, but again, it looked like a good fun first-person shooter, because I remember when Gundam 0083 came out on, I guess it was on the Virtual Boy or something like that. Actually, I think it was the Dreamcast, but either way it goes, it came out a long time ago, and I was happy that it was a first-person shooter, like mecha game. And so they're going back to that just a little bit.
Is this out this year, Dalan?
It said 22, but we'll see what happens.
It'll drop, dude. They ain't doing nothing, dude. This thing is dropping. They're like, you know what? The only person that's gonna buy this is Dalan, so he ain't too worried about the quality. He just wants the Gundam flying. You said something.
Actually,
about
no. The quality looked good. Yeah. The quality looked good.
Yeah. The next thing on here, and people were kind of hyped for it. Very quickly, they learned that it was like the Capcom. Announced a game called Exo Primal. Very quickly, people are like, this is not Dino Crisis, but there are dinosaurs in this game. It's going to be a new co-op game with a quote-unquote competitive edge. It's going to involve 2 teams of 5 in, quote, power-armored battle hordes of dinosaurs, end quote. So I'm looking at the trailer, and it drops 2023. It looks nice. It looks dumb, dude. It looks wacky.
It looks like stupid as hell.
It looks like something I want to try. How about that, dude? I want to try this foolishness.
They took World War Z and said, let's make it wacky. Let's give people armored suits and throw velociraptors at them. And you just see them piling up on each other with terrible AI. Yeah. It
looks super cheesy. It looks like something. If it's like really just kind of like a Overwatch type of like a multiplayer type of game, I'm not that interested. But if it's
not going to be like Overwatch. It's looking like World War Z. You're in there co-oping, trying to get from point A to point B.
No. See, the mistake you're making is saying the quality of Overwatch.
Competitive game.
Yeah, that it's a competitive game. I don't want that in my life, but it's looking a little wacky. It's looking a little foolish. It looks a little Vanquish. I don't know if you guys remember Vanquish, but it looks a little Vanquish to me. So I kind of
Did you not like Vanquish?
I kind of love Vanquish. So it looks nice and foolish. So we'll see. That comes out 2023. I'm pretty sure we'll get kind of a little more to go on, right? Like they're gonna reveal some more. Dalan, the other thing that they did kind of announce really quickly was that there was a new Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise demo, or actually, is that the full title? It's like Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy Origin, Stranger of Paradise. It's very frustrating because they already had a demo, and now they're coming out with another demo, and it's confusing people who didn't get a chance to play the first demo.
What's a new
I had people hit me up on my phone like, "Hey, Dalan, when does the demo drop? I want to try this game." I was like, "Well, you can go try it right now. There's already a demo out." He was like, "Wait, what?"
People
Come
want
on,
it,
there's a
Dalan.
demo.
People want it, but apparently you're not too hyped about it, right? You're like, man.
After playing the first demo, I came to the understanding that they made adjustments to the game to try and make it better.
Yeah.
They tried to listen to their fans a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be much better than what I had played in the original demo, so I'm not too worried about it.
Well, the reviews are out. It's like in the 70s, sort of. It seems okay. Apparently, it's like a Souls type of game, but like an easier Souls type game. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not Final Fantasy. That's Souls.
Well, I mean, that's okay. But that's okay.
I had a hard enough time switching to Dissidia, but this...
I don't know what that means. But yeah.
Dissidia? You don't remember Dissidia? Final Fantasy
Dalan,
Dissidia.
Yeah, I know it exists.
What do you mean you don't know what it means then? Don't be lying over here on the screen. You're lying in person.
I don't know what the game is. I mean, I understand it exists. Dalan, what's the big news of the week for you, man, this past week? Let's get to that.
Well, it wasn't necessarily news at the same time, but it was awesome to see that EA, their studio, Motive Studio, I believe that's what it's called, they confirmed an early 2023 release window for Dead Space Remake, which I'm super happy about. I was happy just to hear that they were making a remake in the first place. I hear that they're trying to make like a 1-to-1 to it and just really just updating it entirely. I believe that they're actually going to be making some changes to the story as well and putting in stuff that was not in the game before, but they haven't really extensively gone into that recently. But the footage that they showed on March 11th, they showed it in their Frostbite engine. They're still building it from the ground up, still looking beautiful. But the biggest things that they showed in this case was the audio changes. That was what they were really showcasing this time, was their audio changes. And they created what they called the Alive system. I don't know if you looked into it at all, Carlos, but it is a system to where Isaac is now reacting to how he is feeling at the time. If he's fatigued, he's going to respond differently. If he's injured, he's going to respond differently. If he's fatigued and injured, he's going to respond differently. Being that you may have a different experience than other people depending on how much you get your butt kicked and how much you run.
Yeah, and we've had a little bit of experience of that. Maybe I could throw in a little bit to Luis here as the resident programmer on the podcast. But I know in Spider-Man, you would actually get different like voices, whether he was kind of on the ground running around or just standing versus swinging around. You would actually get a tired version of like the voice. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but you get they did in the original. I'm pretty sure they did it in Miles Morales as well. Mm-hmm. But Luis, do you, now here, from what I understand, what they're saying is this new dialogue based on how the character is feeling. So maybe we don't get he's more tired or less. This is just the statement he's making. Is that easier to I don't know if you would know, right? I'm just throwing this question out there. But is it easier to program like it's like, okay, tired voice versus not tired voice, or like completely new dialogue? If that makes sense, I guess what I'm asking. Or it's the same thing.
It's generally the same thing. You're basically just playing one clip or the other, right? So even if it's the same dialogue but sounds different, or it's a completely new piece of dialogue, it's still a separate clip, right?
Okay,
so
gotcha.
It's basically the same technology. But they did this in a more like in-depth way with The Last of Us. They had her she had like an entire heart rate, so her breathing would change, different animations would change depending on if she was running away, hiding, or whatever. Okay. But yeah, it's cool to see more games kind of implementing it like this, like in Dead Space, and it's a remake too, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like they ended up going really deep in it, the way they actually portrayed it in this video, because obviously Isaac was moving differently depending on whether he was fatigued or injured, because obviously in most games when you have an injured character, or at least for recent times, when they're injured, they might like limp or something like that. But in this case, whether he's fatigued or injured, or fatigued and injured, there's actually a different way that he's moving, and he'll actually you'll actually see him breathing faster if his heart rate is going up, because they actually have heart rate for this as well. They did a lot of extra stuff with this.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny, Luis. I don't know why I didn't notice it as much in like The Last of Us, man. But that sounds like it's even a little more dynamic than what they were doing in Spider-Man. Because these games, like I said, I do use headphones when I play them, so it's.
You're gonna hear it this time, because now they have the occlusion space works. Apparently, I guess that's what they called it.
Yeah.
Where if you're like in front of a door and it opens, you can hear it clearly. But then if you walk around like the wall and it's obscured, you can't hear it as clearly. And you can actually, if you have headphones on like yours, you could actually be on like the other side of a wall and you can hear which direction the door is coming from if it's like around a corner.
Yeah,
so it sounds like something from the left, but it's not.
Look, I will say this. So Luis saying was saying that how they're putting a lot of work in this for a remake. But look, Luis, when they're not remaking a 3-hour script that the writer wrote on the can on the toilet, I mean, you better give us something good, right? You better give us new animations, good audio, good stuff. You know, where it's like we're doing a 1-to-1. It better be nicer. It better be good, which I think the original.
Thank you for that Resident Evil 4 reference, by the way.
There you go. I was wondering. I was actually gonna bring it up, so people are like what? Resident Evil 4 was written on the can over the span of 3 weeks. Probably not on the can. That's just a little salient point.
According to Dalan.
That's a little salient points original there. But Dan, let's wrap up on this one, man. Anything else? Any more little details?
The other details being is that they're going to have another stream out in May that's going to show more of the art design and the actual gameplay. So I'm looking forward to that.
There you go. Luis, anything else on this?
No, not really.
We'll move on to quick takes, and it's always in quotes. That quick is always in quotes, but we do have some quick takes, quick news to comment on for the last week. The first one is, this one I thought was a little interesting, but Square Enix, as far as their Babylon's Fall game is concerned, is now asking their fans to fix their game. So Platinum Games and Square Enix, they had launched a survey last week to help it understand how it can deliver a, quote, a better game experience, end quote. That's from Video Game Chronicles, Video Game Chronicle there. So I think it's very interesting, man, that it's like Babylon's Fall, as we had talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, was that the max amount of players they got was 650 players. And this is for like a live service type of game. Yeah, so I thought to me, the first thing I thought is like, what the fuck do you mean? Do you want me to make the game for you now? Is my thought process. But I don't know. Dylan, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Hey, man, it's actually really smart for any company to get input from their fans to try and improve it so that other fans can appreciate it the way that they do. Hopefully, they can fix it properly, because I really wanted this game to work. I wanted to see a good Final Fantasy based, or Square Enix new IP that was live service that they could keep going and make all kinds of new stories with.
Well, and it kind of sucks, because when I was looking this up, is Platinum Games, man, they actually make some decent stuff. Like we just talked about Vanquish. They made Vanquish, so they've and I think Bayonetta, right? They're the team, Bayonetta team.
I don't know. They made a bunch of games that were just awesomely
your favorite
good.
Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, Dalan. They made that one, I believe. Revengeance.
You're gonna get me started again. I hate that game.
Okay, there you go. But so it does kind of suck in that sense. But yeah, there's a survey out there. Luis, man, as a developer, I'm gonna ask you directly in the camera. Do you expect us, the gamer, to make the games for you as well? I'm blaming you for this, man. I'm just messing with you.
I didn't do anything.
I'm not blaming
you. No, I think I'm not even gonna answer that question. I think that,
I'm not even gonna dignify that with the response. That's fair.
I think that it might be too late for these guys. I don't know, because I mean, they're sending out surveys to their current players, right?
Yeah, they should have had a beta
or whatever. They had it at 650 peak or something, and I'm assuming maybe half of those never came back. So I don't know what information they expect. It's going to be an uphill battle. Even if they do fix it, it's going to take some time for people to come to the game at all to begin with, and get the people that played it to come back too. So
it's not going to be an Anthem, but it's not going to be as successful at the same time.
Yeah. I look. That was I feel bad for them now, Luis. Now that you gave that a proper explanation and you didn't dignify my question with the response, which is fine. But yeah, you do kind of feel bad for them now. I guess
they're trying to stay afloat.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. But they're just gonna have to cut their losses. I feel like.
I think no, they can't. That's the problem, because we were talking a few episodes ago, might have been like a month ago or so, where they were banking on this succeeding so that they could then experiment and create better versions of their existing franchises, right? So if this fails, all that goes down the drain.
Yeah, so you hope they kind of make it through, I suppose, right? Maybe they can figure something out. I mean, it goes to the point. I didn't put it on here, but it goes to. I think they were even asking about the graphical style. Like, it's like, what do you guys hate the way it looks? It's like, oh damn, man, these guys. Platinum Games, I like them. It's too bad, right? It's too bad because I do like them, and maybe you can figure something out. The other guys have clearly figured things out is Elden Ring. If you guys have been looking on the internet for the last week, there's been speed records on it, and apparently this game takes about like at the minimum, I think I was seeing 30, 40 hours, but maybe upwards of 70 hours. People have beaten this thing in less than 30 minutes now at this point. So, that's out there. Besides that, as far as the NPD is concerned, Elden Ring is a quote smash hit, and that's what VentureBeat is saying that NPD is regarding Elden Ring as. And so far, it's the best-selling game of the year, which is, what is it, 3-month sample, about almost or 2-month sample, about 2.5-month sample. So it's definitely right out the gate. There's been some decent games right in the last couple months, so the fact that they're like it's a smash hit, best-selling game, is kind of nice. What are your thoughts, Dalan, on this thing being just kind of selling like hotcakes?
It was the most anticipated game of 2021. We knew it was going to sell like hotcakes from the get-go. So I am not surprised by this.
I am. I mean,
and on top of that, it's like Souls-based type of game. Name a Souls-based game that has failed.
I mean, I don't know if they've sold. I don't know if they gave us numbers. I should have looked up the numbers. But as far as how they're considering this thing a smash hit, they've never considered them smash hits. They've sold well. They haven't been failures. But not being a failure doesn't equal a smash hit, Dalan. But they're also tricky with their wording, though. Because we were just talking about Returnal earlier, and that was a smash hit. Only selling 600,000 copies. So it shouldn't be surprising, but I think it's just to say that it's been selling better than expected, right? Like, I'm sure they were expecting for it to come out the gate strong, but now they're like, here we go. We're doing it. We're doing it live. So expect that. I think a long lifeline, because those games kind of tend to live for a while, right? They don't like as far as the fans are concerned and all that. So
yeah, they grow its own fan base, and I'm pretty sure Elden Ring is going to do the same thing.
I think it'll even do more, because I'm even playing. I got to play it a little bit more to kind of be like fully into it. But from what I played, I've been more into it than I was in past games from Software. The next thing we have on here, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, is apparently Sony is saying go full crossplay. And that's after Sony, if you guys remember, I'm pretty sure we talked about it on Salient Points, I believe, too, that they blocked Borderlands 3 from having full cross-play. Sony did, and now they're like, this time around, it's like, you know what? We're not going to screw up that way. Get your full cross-play on for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Dalan, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm glad that they actually made it crossplay, but the only real good thing about Tiny Tina's Wonderland to me is the melee part of it, and I'm not sure if that's really a big selling point for me, but the fact that it's co-op is still great, but then again, it's the makers of Borderlands. I'm hoping it doesn't feel it. I know I could go play it right now, but I am so washed out over the previous Borderlands games that were so cookie cutter. They all kind of felt the same. It just felt like a continuous story. And this one is like, we're going to jump the gun on the story and do something completely different and see if you guys like it. But at that point, I'm like, well, I already played the other Borderlands game. It's too connected to Borderlands. Okay. It is too connected to Borderlands. I don't know if I really want to play it like that.
So you would want
crossplay or not.
So you would want something completely new. Same mechanics though, or you want them to just make something completely new?
Something new. Okay. Something new, man.
This is not for you, Daniel. It's just not for you. But you will be playing full call. I'm kind of, it's out in a couple weeks.
Hey man, you can download it right now. I'm pretty sure it's free right now. For the Tiny Tina's, or at least
no. This is
the little mini game. Yeah, I'm talking about the
you're talking about.
Was it the DLC?
Yeah, you're talking about the DLC.
No, it's like a separate thing. It's just a little short story. The short story was free, and at the very least, we could play that and see what it's like. No, this is a new one coming out.
I think you might be confused. This is a new game coming out in 2 weeks. There is.
I understand that there is.
That came out about a year ago or a year and a half.
No, there was a Tiny Tina's Wonderland thing that was free last month or something like that, or it's even this one. I can't remember.
It's not this.
It's not the full game, but it's still this game.
It's not this. Luis, what do you you're gonna have to look some shit up, Dalan, after this podcast.
All right, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Or yeah, maybe while Dalan or while Luis. I don't even think he has much to say on this. But Luis, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't think he has anything to say.
No, not really. I've never been that big into the Borderlands franchise. I think I played a demo once and was like, all right, I'm good, and then I just never got any of them. But yeah, I guess that was a weird move, and no one really gave Sony too much flack over it for them blocking crossplay on the other games. So I don't. Maybe it just wasn't worth it to them either way.
I think.
Well, yeah, but maybe like when the headline came out, and then nothing, so no one really ended up caring in the end, I guess, all that much.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would kind of backtrack that. Maybe it just wasn't worth it either way to then just trigger the compensation. Fortnite's doing it. Just go ahead and trigger the compensation.
Yeah. It's gonna trigger compensation, as we found out from internal documents. I think all that came out from the Apple Fortnite stuff, right? It's like
it really did.
All right.
Everybody was talking about everything. All right, Dalan. What
Here you go.
You
Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, a Wonderlands one-shot adventure. It was free last month.
I think it's been free before, but this is a different game, is what I'm saying, though, Dalan.
No, I'm saying it is it's kind of like they built a little
not
demo.
What your research turned up.
Did you not hear the last part of that? I'm going to read it again.
Damn.
A Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, a Wonderlands one-shot adventure. It's still from the whole mechanics of this new Wonderlands game that's coming out, but it's not that game. They made a demo to stand alone for people to do as a one shot.
I feel like that's
so you can try out the
Dalan.
game.
I feel like
that's a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game. That's what I said. Damn, I really hate you, Dalan. But on this next news clip here, 50. So there's gonna be, as far as the Steam Deck, they're gonna give you a 15 frames per second limit option. So it's gonna. I looked at the image that was on the thing I was looking up. It said 15, 30, and 60. So, but you would want to limit this thing for 50? That's my question, I guess. It was kind of a question for Luis. But Dalan, you have some thoughts here on this, on the 15 limit option?
My only question is, why would you limit it to 15 frames? I mean, you had the same question, but then I'm thinking it depends. It might depend on what you are trying to play on it. You might have something that looks terrible at higher frames, or at least something that would be significantly harder to play at higher frames. If you think about it, remember when you played Destiny at 120 frames for the first time, it was moving too fast for you.
Oh, I'm still playing that shit at 120, man. That thing is super smooth, though. Maybe that's why I'm getting murdered out there. Things are moving too fast. Is there a reason why that low, Luis? I mean, we've heard 30 frames cap, right? I mean, we've been playing 30 frames on the console,
Dalan
right?
kind of said it there a little bit. I guess maybe it's for longevity. I don't understand the Steam Deck in the sense of if you can upgrade parts or whatever, they're just going to come out with new models or whatever. But if it's
install
the prior,
Windows,
if it's the latter, I mean, if it's just one off and you can't upgrade or change parts, then it would make sense for if a new game comes out, you can't run it at 30 FPS. Maybe they give you the 15 FPS option, and it might give you a chance to sort of play it before you upgrade or something. But that's all I could think of.
But it's wild though, right? Because I mean, we were complaining about 30 frames. Now it's like we're gonna have that. You guys were playing on consoles. You console gamers were playing shit at 30. We're gonna have that and give you a chance, like Luis said.
Yeah, I think that's a balance for games that come out in maybe 5 years or something, not necessarily right now. I wouldn't expect anyone to need to use 15 frames at this point, but never know.
There you go. Next one on here is we got F-Zero X. That's coming to our favorite expansion pack, Nintendo Online expansion packs that cost you $50, $60 a year. So F-Zero's coming to that. I was kind of like, whatever. So F-Zero X comes out to it. But the one key thing to this is there's going to be online versus battle up to 4 players. So you're going to have local 4-player battles, but also online. I don't know if that necessarily convinces me to drop the $60 or $50 for the Nintendo expansion pack, but it's kind of interesting. It might sweeten the deal. Some F-Zero online play, that would be kind of nice. What about you, Dalan? Does this convince you?
F-Zero X was the 64 version, right?
The N64 version.
All right. Well, I'm glad that they dropped this game because people love it, but it still doesn't justify the $60 price tag for that thing.
Yeah. Even if it's kind of giving you online, right? It's kind of like a little. That'd be kind of nice to play that online because we've never played it online, right? But Is it enough? I guess that's a personal
For me, it's not enough.
Yeah.
For me, it's not enough.
Next thing
it's gonna be hard to sell me on that expansion pass. Quite honestly, it's gonna be hard to sell me on that.
It's hard, right? Because we're seeing like PlayStation struggles to get us to get into their ecosystem, right? With PlayStation Now or whatever, where it's like, why would we care about that? Where Game Pass is like, it literally takes, you give us a Pokemon day one. It will literally give us a Mario day one, right? That's what it would take for us to take it seriously. But this kind of stuff is sort of interesting to get it online. If I ever get it like, on a discount or something, maybe it's like, oh, that's right, I can play these games online, right? But other than that, it's tough. I feel your pain, Dalan. The other thing on here, it's so Russia is reportedly legalizing some forms of piracy to combat widespread boycott sanctions. We talked about it a little bit last week, and we did give a list, right? EA, Rockstar, CDPR, like all these companies. Even FIFA took Russia out of the soccer game, which I thought was okay. That's interesting. That's a move. So yeah, it's interesting to like, oh, we're getting boycotts and everything. Well, you guys make sure to download crap. Or I don't know if they're necessarily promoting it, but at the very least, they're not gonna go after anybody, right? Luis, what are your thoughts on this, man? That Russia's like, legalize it.
I guess that's one way to get around the entire world locking you out of every form of entertainment, right? So it's interesting to see how it'll play out, because I don't see this jiving with the rest of the world that has money to lose in this situation. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's developers that are kind of based, whether if it's in Russia or Ukraine, right? But they kind of are, they might be a little reliant. I mean, you don't know how much the revenue actually comes from Russia, but it's kind of like, wait, that's what you guys did to us, right? Because when we get past this, at some point we will get past this, right? What are the like residuals from it, right? That it's like, well, in Russia you don't even got to pay for this crap, or to be honest, you don't have to pay for it anywhere, right? But it's not. It's not even.
But it's not legalized.
Right? Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not legalized, and there it's like, it's fine. We'll definitely look the other way. It's fine. So that's what's going. We'll see what comes of it, right, in the future. The next thing we have on here, as speaking of the Steam Deck, is another game is apparently unsupported, officially unsupported, I guess, or semi-officially. Halo Infinite is unsupported on the Steam Deck due to anti-cheat. This is according to Eurogamer. Luis, I think you did mention this last time we were talking about, like, why doesn't Destiny 2 run on it, or why will it get you banned if you try to run it, right? But I guess for Halo Infinite, does that kind of confirm what you were thinking, that that's probably the reason why Destiny 2 isn't running? Because
I guess the only difference there is being that they just said it flat out, this is the reason. So yeah, I mean, it's something to be expected for the Steam Deck moving forward until they could find some sort of solution or workaround to that for the developers, I mean, at least. But
so it's just that it kind of confirms what you were thinking. It's like, oh, it's what is anti-cheat though? I don't understand. Like, I guess maybe you can give me a little.
It's supposed to, in the perfect world, it's supposed to catch people that are cheating on your game and like automatically ban them from your game for you, or at least do the process that goes through that, like banning them for a day, banning their account, banning their IP, whatever, or putting
Rocket
them in
League
lobbies
crew.
with
I'm sorry.
bad apples, I guess.
And that stuff is usually like proprietary. Is that what it is? It's usually like proprietary, and Steam Deck is using their own version.
Have their own. No, it's like the developer implements it within the game, whether it's something that they bought, another library or plugin they bought from somebody else, or it's something they built in house. Yeah. But like, you'll load up a game and it'll say on the bottom right, like, using this anti-cheat. So it's just the difference between on the Steam Deck, someone could just mod that out of the game and they wouldn't have to worry about anti-cheat. I think that's more the concern.
Got you. And there is a workaround, right? So Steam basically said, we're allowing you to install Windows, so you can have like Windows fully running on the Steam Deck. And that's how people have been playing Destiny 2, based on like, we installed Windows on the Steam Deck, now they're playing Destiny 2. Is that, real quick, Luis, is that a way to work around it? The fact that, okay,
apparently,
we installed Windows and we're running it through Windows instead of Steam.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
the way to do it. Dalan, what you had some thoughts on this specifically, I suppose, on Destiny 2 you can get it running on Steam Deck.
Well, you kind of pointed it out, but just the fact that it's basically a mobile Windows on your little handheld Steam Deck, and you're wondering, well, how long is that going to last? Because I know that Destiny likes to do a lot of hot fixes, but are they really going to take the time to try and do a hot fix if they can't tell that the Windows is running on a Steam Deck? Well, I mean, they might look at it. It might look like a laptop to them because people play Destiny on laptops.
Yeah,
but will they be able to do the same thing?
I'm assuming if there's a Windows fix, and that applies to this version of Destiny, right? Or this Destiny 2 that they're kind of running.
I hope so, or people are going to cheat the hell out of this game.
Anticheat.com. Next thing on here, Call of Duty Warzone is finally coming to mobile. I thought there was a Call of Duty. I guess maybe it wasn't specifically Warzone. But Warzone is coming to mobile. Dalan, you're hyped about this?
I'm not hyped about it. I was just thinking when I saw it, Warzone is kind of the peak for Call of Duty right now. It can come out with all kinds of other games if they want to, but as they were going through their whole list of games of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and building up to Warzone, once they hit Warzone, everything after that, cannon fodder.
I mean, it's a free-to-play game. You bring in a whole lot of people that are buying aesthetics and all kinds of cool, fun stuff. The season pass. They
kind of shot themselves in the foot with this game, being that everybody wants to play Warzone and nobody wants to play anything else.
I mean, for the most part, I do see most players that I see are playing Modern Warfare. They don't play Warzone so much. They are playing Modern Warfare. But yeah, it probably didn't help. Yeah, he doesn't play
that's
Warzone.
Anecdotal, Dalan. That's anecdotal.
He doesn't play Warzone. He plays a Search and Destroy. Yeah, I think like because it did happen. Especially all the streamers I watch, they tried the new Black Ops. They tried Ghost or whatever it was called. Sorry, and then Vanguard, and they immediately came back to Modern Warfare. Not even necessarily Warzone, although they do kind of jump back and forth. So. Yeah, they messed up. That's probably why they delayed the next one, right? They're like
I said, they shot themselves in the foot. We hit a peak. We got to change it. We got to switch it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, what they did is they kind of created two audiences, right? There is the audience that it's like, I never buys games, right? But they'll download a free app, a free, like, Warzone, it's for free. I'll play that. And yet there's still the audience that is a fan of multiplayer, right? And they're kind of waiting on the true... Well, they're waiting on the next Modern Warfare, which drops this year, right? But I think it causes some soul searching for them. I don't know if they're necessarily failing, though. I think we would be wrong in assuming that they're failing. The fact that they now have two different audiences to cater to. I don't
think that they're failing. I just think it's limited them on what they can do going forward. Yeah. Because again, everybody wants these aspects of Modern Warfare and Warzone to be implemented in the new games and to try and make them better. But for a lot of these people, Warzone and Modern Warfare is their perfect Call of Duty game. Why move on?
Yeah,
there's perks for the other games. So you play the other games, you get unlocks to different guns, different attachments, different whatever. So that's the appeal. That's how they keep Warzone like the core of around the rest of their other franchises, so that they can sort of all lead back to Warzone in a way.
Yeah, so
I guess they're just gonna keep pushing Warzone forward, kind of like Grand Theft Auto 5. They're just gonna keep pushing it forward.
Hey, they're making money, man.
They're making money. So that's what I'm saying. I think the only thing that I can think of that probably suffers is the multiplayer campaign aspect of it, as we found out, right, that they didn't sell very much of Cold War and they didn't sell very much of Vanguard, and what happened was the fact that Warzone took over, right, and it was pulling their attention away. They were kind of trying to tie into it, but it wasn't what people wanted. So I think if anything suffers is that, but Warzone is a rocket ship to the moon at this point, right? Like it's gone. It's that they will never not work on Warzone, so much so that they delayed one game and they're talking about, but Warzone's coming to mobile. Don't you worry. Don't you fret. So we're getting Modern Warfare this year. We hope that kind of tides people over. So it better be damn good, right? Is the expectation enough to tide?
It better function and not blow up my phone.
There you go. The other thing that is announced, I thought we kind of knew this, so it's kind of interesting that they kind of
we didn't know when,
but Super Nintendo World, which is going to be at Universal Studios Hollywood, opens next year, 2023. So maybe it's what you're saying, Dalan. I thought it is coming, but and I don't know.
Yeah, they never gave a date.
Yeah.
We just knew that the wall of Mario and Luigi was there in the back over by the Transformers ride. So it's just sitting there, and you're just like, all right, when are you opening?
There you go. So are you hyped, Dalan? 2023? That would be the next time I go to
Hey, man,
Universal Studios. I guess.
As soon as I found out they were opening one in Japan, I was like, man, might have to learn Japanese just so I could get there. I gotta get my passport. But now, it's opening in America soon enough that I won't be dead by the time it opens. So I'm
okay.
That's pretty good.
Hey, man. Sometimes you look at these places, you're like, when is it going to open? It's going to open in 2072. Damn, I will definitely not be around.
I thought you were going to say it was like, sometimes you feel like you're going to die. And I was like,
no, you went far more morbid in that direction than I did.
Morbid. No, I feel like I matched your morbidity on that one. Luis,
don't get demonetized.
Luis, will you make it to 2023 to see the opening of Super Nintendo World?
Will you make it?
You never know, right? You never know.
I mean, Dalan introduced this morbidity, man. But
morbidity has been introduced in general in life. He just brought attention to it in this particular moment.
I'm sorry. Let's go. Move on.
This weekend we were having a not necessarily lengthy, but a conversation of your brother Jonathan was trying to convince us like, yo, so we're all getting year passes, right? Like it's coming 2023. Like he wants it right now. But
wait, if you get a year pass, doesn't it only last until the end of the year?
No, that's from when you buy it.
There's a calendar year option, and then there's one that will last like an actual full year.
Okay, so you have a rolling year option.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't know, Dan. First of all, we don't know if we'll make it till 2023, and secondly, we don't know if that full it'll be open.
It might be the second half of 2023.
2023. But I would
Christmas
assume
2023.
It's been under construction for quite a bit, right? It could be early 2023. I would think. I would hope. I don't know. But
hey, man, I know all you want, Carlos, is one of those mushroom wristbands. That's all you want. You want those stupid wristbands.
I'll tell you, look, when I go, dude, it's going to be my childhood right there that I'm looking at. I want it all. Next thing on here, Dalan, I know you're looking forward to this, right? Gotham Knights finally got a release date. That's dropping October 25th, 2022. Are you hyped, Dalan? Do you need this confirmed?
Hey. I was hyped the moment I found out the Court of Owls was like the main thing of it. So yeah, I'm very hyped for it.
All right, there you go.
I know, Carlos. I said that, and your mind went blank for a minute. You were like, I don't know what that is.
Oh, I've heard it before. I've heard you say a lot of things though before, and they don't register. I've heard Cal or something. I play some of these games. I've heard of the Cal.
No, for the Court of Owls. I don't know where you're talking the Cal, but
that's how much I was listening to. My bad.
No, for the Court of Owls, it was in the Batman Dark Knight, the one with the Batmobile. Yeah. And so the Court of Owls was in that a little bit, and then the other one, or the other time it was more recently spoken about, was the Son of Batman movie. It was like the second or third one. I can't remember. It was Batman versus Son of Batman or something like that. And the Court of Owls was a big part of that.
Oh, there you go. So, this will be co-op, right? It's gonna be co-op.
I have no idea. It's like after they postponed it like 7 times, I stopped paying attention. I was just like, I'm just gonna wait for a release date. Now I'll go back and take a look at it and see what's really gonna be in it, because maybe they have some things solidified. Because I don't know what they've been working on every time they've been postponing it.
Dalan, the other thing you will not be taking a look at anytime soon is Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot.
I hate that.
Camp got delayed because of, quote, in light of recent world events, end quote. That's from the Nintendo Europe Twitter. It's understandable. And this is one of the things, I think it was Steven Totillo on Twitter. He was talking about how Advance Wars has a particular release history. Because the original Advance War, which was on Game Boy Advance, it actually was gonna come out around the time of 9/11. So it's one of those things where it's like, Advance War, they're rebooting this thing and they're gonna drop it, in light of recent world events with Ukraine and Russia stuff going on. Nintendo said, nope. We are not doing that. I know you were hyped for it, Dalan. I'm sorry to say, but there's other things
I am hyped for it. I'm just glad Valkyrie Chronicles came out beforehand. At least I'll have some sort of a strategy Europa type game to be playing in the meantime.
All right. So you're just a little sad about this one, right? Well,
I am a little sad about it.
And it's fair for them to say, right? We don't know. It's we honestly.
He's like, right now it's not a good idea. It's kind of like that one Canada game that we played.
Yeah. Oh,
like
damn,
somebody
dude.
died and they hit it right at the time.
Yeah, that was rough. Yeah.
Hey, man, the world events can very much impact the release of games, or just the way that companies are implementing their stories in their games. It could have a major impact. I think it was. I can't remember if it was Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare. I can't remember which game it was, but there was one where you were like an Arab group walking through an airport, killing a bunch of civilians, and they couldn't release that level because of what was going on in the world at the time. So game companies have to make adjustments, man.
No, it was very much released, dude. There was just like
it was released later, and they gave you a warning. No, you can turn that off. You can turn that level off or skip it. You can skip that level.
You're saying two different things, but it did release, Dalan. It did release.
No, I know it did release.
But you said it could be released. It was released later. It was released day
one.
No,
they had to adjust it.
It was released day one. They gave you a trigger warning for sure. They told you, look, this is kind of what's going on in this level. Right, Luis? Can you back me up on this? You know, the no Russian level in Modern Warfare.
Oh, yeah. No, it dropped with it, like, fully in there. And right before the level started, they're like, hey, something's going to happen, and you can skip it or you cannot skip it.
And there was stuff happening in the world at the time.
Yeah. I don't know if, I'd have to look back. For that, Dalan, yes, I would have to look back if there was any particular things going on in the world. But, possibly.
I think just in general, it was the, decade-long war with the Middle East that was going on.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those things where it's like, this is kind of sensitive stuff, but we are art as video games, and we want to comment on these things, right? Or
so we will put it in there, but you have the choice to be ignorant and skip this level.
I don't know about that, Dalan. I did not say that. That was Dalan Kirkwood saying.
No, I didn't mean intelligence-wise. I mean, you could just not care about the level and not know about it at all. It's just sometimes ignorance is bliss. That's what I'm talking about.
You could keep going, Dalan. Anything else you want to say?
There it is. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. That's it.
The other thing we have on here is that the Overwatch 2 beta is finally launching in April. There is no PvE, which is kind of interesting. I know you're kind of looking forward to this. Luis, isn't it all PvP? What would be the PvE, I guess, in Overwatch? Is that something new for 2, or did PvE exist in the first one? Excuse my ignorance, Dalan.
See? So for the old one, from what I remember, PvE was mostly like the seasonal events. So the Halloween event, what else did they have? They had like Lucille Ball was PvP. On the Overwatch archives. But I think last I was following Overwatch 2, they did have like new PvE modes. So it was a kind of an expansion on that. From what I remember, I could be completely wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm hoping, because like I had mentioned right now, I was following this game and then I just stopped. Like I just got tired of keeping up with it and knowing that it wasn't going to come out anytime soon. But I used to be a heavy Overwatch player back in the day. I played it probably for 3 years, I think. Pretty much the only game I was playing. But then I somehow just dropped off, and I got excited for Overwatch 2, and then they delayed it, and all this stuff happened. So I kind of lost interest. I'm hoping that this could sort of pull me back in. So I'll try to get in the beta and see how I feel about that.
And like you were saying, it's so drawn out, right? Now there's actually a date, or loose date, April, right, next month. So you can kind of dip in there. But yeah, if it's like you're saying, it's like if it's a new introduction, that would have been cool, right? To see a new mode, a new way of doing the game. And look, as me and Dalan know, right, PvE would be like kind of the environmental campaign stuff that we can do together that's so great in Destiny 2, but there's also PvP and all that. But Overwatch 2, as far as I've seen, it's basically PvP, right? So I'm sure we'll get your impressions from that, right? In April you'll try to kind of get in that beta, right, and play it a bit. So we'll move on to what you've been playing. We're making time. We're making good time, I believe. So we'll get into what you've been playing right on this Salient Points this time. We'll go into Luis. What you been playing, man? What you been playing this past week?
So I finally went back to Tell Me Why. I stopped
Tell
playing it
me
because
why.
I knew that I was getting close to the end. I don't know why I needed to like be in the right headspace to finish the game, but yeah, I went back to it. I finished it a few days ago. It was not bad, dude. Not bad. Pretty good. If you liked Life is Strange at all, the first one or the second, if you played that, you'll probably like Tell Me
Yeah.
Why. It's a nice little game. Mostly, like I had
Yeah.
mentioned, story driven dialogue. That's pretty much all it is. Choosing different lines and like how to approach a
Was there a
situation.
lot of
So
hella on this one? Did they get better at the dialogue? Not so much hella.
I didn't hear any hella. I think they were
Okay.
in Alaska in this game, so I'd be
Okay.
surprised
Got
if
you.
they got any hellas in there. But
Okay.
it was, yeah, it was cool. It was good.
All right. Those are, yeah, I think you do have to be in the right headspace for those kind of games, right? It's dialogue heavy. Are you're solving a lot of puzzles in this kind of, or it's really just kind of back and forth and getting through the
There's a
story?
bit of puzzle play,
Yeah.
mostly a bigger one towards the end. But yeah, there's some puzzles here and there where you gotta kind of have to, yeah, solve an environmental puzzle, I guess.
Okay.
I am probably at some point, I don't think anytime soon, but go back and try to get a different ending because it's one of those games you could get a
Yeah.
different ending. But for this one, I might just look up how to do it, but not look up the ending itself because I kind of want to see it myself. So
Now,
yeah, we'll see.
and it's self-contained, right? Or it is? Do we expect more as season one, season two, is it self-contained?
At this
Basically.
point, I don't think they've said anything, and they kind of left it off in a way that they could just leave it where it is. I don't see any sort of wrinkle in the story that they could go back to. It'd have to be something different. So
Yeah, if they really wanted to, they could kind of figure something out, I'm sure, right?
yeah,
Now Dalan did type in here. He's also been playing the new Rocket League season. Luis, you get down with the seasons, right? Did you grab the season pass for the Rocket League?
yeah, I've been getting every single one for a while now.
Okay.
I don't know when the last time I
He's like,
didn't
why
get
are you
one.
asking,
Well,
Carlos?
no, I mean, is there anything that's got you hype? I looked at the goal. I usually just go to the 69 goal. Is it always on the 69 slot? I don't know.
It's
If
like
it,
70, 71. It's
I
normally
looked at it,
around that
and
area.
it's like a munching one, right? It munches down like a
It's a
cartoonish
munchy
munching.
monster.
And I'm like, whatever, man. I usually don't get the season passes, but this one was definitely like, whatever. But I did get a free one. I got a free one that's like okay, I guess. You get, like Dalan said, he's like, it's gonna be okay, but you're gonna find out why it's free. I was like, oh, I did. I understand why it's free. But anything in particular, Luis, and then we'll see what Dalan kind of is his thoughts on it.
No, yeah, when I scrubbed through the past, I didn't see anything that caught my eye, but I bought it anyway because you get XP faster. So I was like, whatever, I'll get some free stuff.
Just grab it. Dalan, anything in particular about the new season, Rocket League?
In this case, getting that munchy explosion was. I normally go for the explosion, whatever it might be, and in this case, I didn't really care for the explosion, but I just want to have it just to have a new explosion. However, the one explosion I do want, and I actually brought this to your attention, Carlos, is the one inside the champion or the tournament, the tournaments.
Yeah.
There is a toilet paper explosion, and it's looking pretty stupid.
I saw it.
I wish it was better though. I did look it up. They're like, oh, here, going to the tournament, going to the things. I looked at it and I was like, I honestly feel like it could be wackier. I feel like they kind of phoned it in a little bit. I feel like,
hey man, you could have a toilet paper
wackier
on your antenna, but in recent times, COVID-19, the toilet paper thing has became its own little thing, and just having a toilet paper explosion by itself is hilarious to me. So I'm down to work on going through a couple of tournaments to get some points to try and get it.
I agree with you that toilet paper is always usually wacky. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like I think they could have tried a little bit more.
But you got your free music though, right?
I think so. Dalan, turn off your Tokyo Boys. Turn off your Tokyo Boys, man.
No,
whatever that is. I've heard enough.
Teriyaki Boys.
I've heard enough of the Teriyaki Boys on Rocket League. Dalan, what are we doing out here, man? Destiny 2, right? We're still trying to work up to raid, I suppose.
Hey man, I'm ready to go raid. We just need the people to go do it, and you need to level up, sir. You're at what, 1530 now? You were at 1528 last time we checked. Still, the recommended level is 1540. You know you weren't there.
Let's get it done. What else on Destiny, Dalan? And then I don't have too much to say on my what you've been playing, but anything else?
Well, for the most part, I'm going to throw it to you because for the most part right now, I've kind of been chirping whoever wants to actually join me in playing the game just to try and actually get better gear so that we can do the raid. And essentially, I want to go do the harder activities. It's awesome to know that you can still buy the Hawk Moon and buy the Dead Man's Tale, even if you didn't have the previous expansion, so you can actually get them. You just won't be able to go through the nice levels that you would have to go through in order to get them. And I believe that they will even give you the catalyst to make the guns even stronger. But without being able to replay the levels and re-earn the weapons, you won't be able to get re-rolls to make them more powerful.
There's a lot of look, I love Destiny too, man, but you really go into it an extra level. I'm like, I just want to raid.
Yeah, I'm one level up there, but that's only so we can go raid. I am down to go raid because the raid is where it's at.
Yeah, that's really what we need to get to. Other than that, I did play a little Chrono Trigger. That's pretty. I busted out my copy I've had since like 2009 to play that version. And I looked at the receipt. That's why I know it's from 2009 because the receipt said 2009, a game for $30. Chrono Trigger. It was pretty cool. I like the map at the bottom. It's a pretty smooth game. But then I noticed, or I think I saw an article online saying that there's an iOS version of Chrono Trigger, and I was like, I want that. I know it's not the buttons, it's not the D-pad or the analog, but it's a big, beautiful screen, and it's convenient. It's always in my pocket, so I'm missing the map a little bit, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay, and they also have auto.
You can always just open the map, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, maybe, possibly.
There's a button to open the map.
Okay, so I gotta open the map.
Or you can go look at the map somewhere. You can find the map.
The DS, it was nice, dude, and it would actually.
It was just always there.
No, and it would fill in as you walked around. Like it would fill into the areas you haven't been before. So it was. I miss it a little bit, but like I said, the convenience of it. I will finally play Chrono Trigger. I know in your guys' RPG group is heralded as this big thing, right, Dalan? Like the one of the best RPGs. I'm assuming, right? So I want to play some.
I like
Chrono
after
Trigger.
all these years. It's since 2009. That game got so excited coming out of that box. It got pushed into the 3DS. You loaded it up, and he said iOS. And then you just put it right back to
yeah. That box was
like a bad Toy Story moment.
I finally come out to play, and nope, it's going back in its box. It's going back in there. iOS.
At least it can breathe without the plastic.
It looks really nice. So I think one of the things that was kind of convincing was that it looks beautiful, dude, on that like iPhone screen. Oh, it looks incredible, and it's wider and it's bigger. Yeah, the DS. Nintendo really takes their being as kind of off the shelf parts thing seriously. They really do. That 3DS it doesn't look as great. The other thing also, I finally beat Shenmue 3. I beat it today, actually. Got to the end of it. It has a big climactic battle at the end, but yet there's still a cliffhanger, and I'm like, you had to Kickstarter this game. How do you know you're gonna make a 4, man? I don't understand why you leave it in a cliffhanger. So, and it's also like it has an interesting like little ending to it where it's supposed to be excitement, like a build up to the final bosses, where they put like 10, 15 people in your way, to get up to the steps. They're easy. You just kind of give them 2 punches and they get knocked over. I was like, okay, that's exciting to give me a whole bunch of random little AIs to beat up. So I am ready to check out the anime. I didn't platinum this one. I was kind of looking up the trophies of it, and I was like, it looks a little complicated to me. So I don't know if I go back, see which ones are fun, and I'll kind of clean up some of the trophies. But other than that, I'm done with Shenmue 3, and I'm moving on to the anime. I'm ready. Maybe he fills us in on the rest of the story, because he definitely left it on a cliffhanger. I was like, really? You really think you're going to Kickstarter another game for this? So we'll leave it at that for what you've been playing. I did have a zinger for us this week. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but and this was from The Verge. Years ago, there was a guy, I think it was Damon or something like that. He did a 3D render, as you guys can see on here on the
Daemon.
Daemon. There you go.
Daemon.
There you go. Daemon. He did a fake like 3D render, and as you can see, it's basically he kind of like took the GameCube controller with the analog and the C stick and all that, and he was like, I'm gonna make a portable GameCube. And there's a guy actually called Ginger of Oz. He actually made a real version of it. Of course, instead of having like the analog sticks, he actually took the 3DS sliders and kind of that's so the screen would actually close. He didn't actually get the CD slot in there. Like he didn't have a functioning CD slot. He just kind of like put a slot just to kind of give it the same look as the 3D render. And also he's not using GameCube parts. He's using the Wii motherboard. Just kind of, it's a little more compact edition. So it kind of looks cool. If you guys are interested, there's a kind of the 3DS or the GameCube portable that like 3D render come to.
Fact is, it works.
Yeah. Had you guys seen this before? Didn't you seen this render kind of go around in the past?
I saw the fake one, but I didn't know the real one was existing.
Yeah. Do you like kind of the concessions he made, I suppose, where he's like, all right, it's gonna be 3DS sliders, it's gonna be, flat.
Hey,
in a way.
I like for the fake one how they have the Wi-Fi symbol right next to the screen.
that was a big deal at the time. That was a big deal.
That we got Wi-Fi.
But yeah, it's kind of cool, man, that they actually kind of get this thing working, right? So obviously it's kind of like download games, right? Since you couldn't get the slot working. Luis, any thoughts on this little contraption here?
No, looks cool. I had no idea this was even a thing that existed out in the real world, even in a fake sense. So I guess some guy had some spare time and he made it.
Yeah.
I remember somebody made a miniature mobile Nintendo 64, and I'd love to see that too.
Dude, they make all kinds of like, let's make it portable, and they're not always exactly portable, right? So it's kind of cool that this thing, he looks like he's running a Wind Waker on it, so that looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's been another episode of Salient Points. This was number 60 for March 15, 2022. I'm Carlos Macias, your master of ceremonies here, and I would be remiss to say, my wife did say, it's like, hey, I helped you put these things up, so I think I might have to still kind of maneuver, but I have some things in the background now. It's not just a blank wall, I suppose. So I did want to give her some credit on that. It's like, let's put something on this wall here. But
don't get demonetized.
For what? What are they going to demonetize exactly, Dalan, is my question again.
It's like, I don't get paid for this.
Dalan Kirkwood, thank you for joining us, sir, from up in the mountains.
Hey man, pay me. I don't get paid enough.
Oh damn.
Fair wages,
look,
Carlos.
if I start getting paid, I'm gonna spread the wealth, the big wealth. I'm sure we're gonna start getting paid if we ever do. Luis, I will say so. Luis Mendes on the Wheels of Steel as well. Thank you for joining us, sir. I did want to say we were at your house this past weekend, Dalan, and Dalan was saying like where he's at right now, it looks like a nice little space in there, right? But we went over to his house and he's like, look, no one go downstairs to where I record or no that. But he did clean up enough because I was like, Luis has to see your studio. Luis, what were your thoughts of Dalan's studio there?
It looks smaller in real life. I didn't realize that he was making
I'm really
work.
cramped. This is also my literal workspace. So I turn off my monitor, so obviously it doesn't get recorded. But I used to have a significantly smaller desk that would have me cramped up against this wall, and I would like hurt my legs. I would hurt my legs. So quality of life upgrade.
There you go.
I got my little.
Wait, you said, David, but be careful, man. You might knock over the cabinet.
Hey, man, it's gonna stop. It's good.
All right. Oof, that's a little dangerous.